Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here to our 25th race of the debut season of the PCSRA Winston Cup Series, attempt number 3 of me recording this damn race. So, yeah. Maddie Crenshaw on the pole. She is 30th in the standings alongside of Brooklyn Carter, Brad Lewis, and Jessica Miller in row number 2. Here's the rest of the starting lineup. Get these cars going. Yeah, sorry if this race has been giving me problems or the recording's giving me problems. Every time I've stopped recording, it doesn't save my video for some reason and it got really annoying. So, yeah. J TwoTwo is the points leader by 2 points over Cody Smart. 41 points behind is J Bouvier in third. B Tennyson is fourth. A Crenshaw fifth. Betty Johnson, Elena Aurora, Jessica Miller, Tatum Wright, and Monica Towns. Your top 10. While they're coming to the green, let me go get me a cup and I'll be back. I am back just in time for our first caution of the day. Like a wreck in turn number 3. Get to that in just a second. First, let's see who brought out the caution. Brooklyn Carter, Betty Johnson, Elena Aurora, Ben Erickson. That might be his playoff hopes done. Ashley Horton's involved. Tatum Wright's involved. Not sure if I see any damage to... I see damage to the 5. So caution's out for the first time today. Let's jump back to the replay to find out what happened. Here's what happened. This is what caused our first yellow. Marty Stevens, who needed a good run today, gets turned by Elena Aurora, comes down into Kevin Joseph right in front of Annie Thomas. There was a second wreck. We'll document that in just a second. Oh, Brooklyn Carter got turned. So this was like the follow-up wreck. And there's Ashley Horton. Looks like Cody Smart, second in points, got a piece of it, I think. Kevin Joseph hits Melissa Cooper. We'll document that in just a minute. Look at all the cars on the back straightaway. The 5 got a piece of it. There's where Erickson gets involved. Now to the 21. Or no, 25, I'm sorry. Yeah, she got up high. Same thing we saw earlier. And who does she come down? Bounces off points leader J TwoTwo, who does an incredible job saving it. Jessica Miller got a piece of it. A Crenshaw missed it. but it closed up on Ashley Horton. I believe Cody did get some damage on that all-tail 4. Tell you what, Luigi Cadet did a good job missing it, and then the 41 just couldn't miss it. So a lot of drivers involved, and a couple of drivers who did not need to get involved, like the 5, the um, 97, and those drivers trying to get in the top 30 in points for their wins to count. Unfortunately, we're going to have a lot of drivers out of this race. Who they be? We're going to find that out as we get back to green at Texas. And a restart here on lap number 7 of 34 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Brad Lewis is the leader. Zachary Taylor, one of the drivers trying to get himself back in the top 30 in the points, is second. Samantha Grainger, Maddie Crenshaw, and Ponzo Albanus, your top 5. Drivers out from that incident: Ben Erickson, Kevin Joseph, Lane Aurora, Ashley Horton, and Brooklyn Carter. I believe that will be the end of the road for the 41 who got involved, and all 40 did take the start. It'll be Turner, Knight, Sean Art, Brittany White, and Betty Barrett, your top 10s. We're back to green here at Texas. I believe the 97, the 97 has continued on. Same with the 5. Of course, they only got left side damage. And Courtney Lynn, remember, came in this race 29th in points. She's one of the drivers trying to stay in the top 30 in the point standings, and this is not what she needed, along with Marty Stevens. Annie Crenshaw, 35th. Well, the good thing, Annie Crenshaw just leaving pit road. Betty Johnson. Doesn't look like the 5's too badly hurt. I think they just pulled the sheet metal off, and now she's good to go. Now she needs to get herself to the front as soon as possible. Anna Smith's got some damage. That's another driver who's trying to stay in the top 30 in the points table. Crenshaw has now fallen a lap down. Or, check that. She's fallen 2 laps down. So apparently she had to make an unscheduled pit stop. The good thing for Annie Crenshaw, she's far high enough in points that it's not going to matter if she has a poor result, because she's already into the playoffs with her 2 wins. So I don't think Annie Crenshaw is going to be bitter about that. Zachary Taylor running in second. He needs a good run to stay in the top 30 in the points to have his win count for a playoff berth. Eddie Johnson going super slow. And it looks like Courtney Lynn is up to speed, along with the 48, who still has that left side damage. And I'm trying to check and see if Cody has some damage to the front end. Yeah, right there on the right front of his Altel Mobile One Dodge. And that's not good for Cody, because he came in this race second in points, trying to run down J TwoTwo for the points lead. And where's the 29, you ask? Right here in 7th. So if Cody has another poor finish, I think we can safely say the regular season championship might have all but be clinched at this point. Ponzo Albanus battling Samantha Grainger. There's Annie Crenshaw right behind Zachary Taylor. She has looked like up to speed. but we're not entirely sure why she came to pit road during that green flag. Of course, she's only going to be one lap down if she gets around to 17. Cody Smart was second in points coming into this race. Josephine Bouvier, after winning the somewhat controversial race at Martinsville last week, running in 20th. That's third in points. B Tennyson's fourth. So got a lot of drivers in the process. Annie Thomas, who's like 50 some odd points back of 30th in the standings, trying to make the playoffs. It's going to be a tough uphill battle for that team. We'll just have to wait and see where this is going to situate her. Brooklyn Carter will not make the playoffs, I can tell you that, with her DNF today. Ben Erickson was 18 points back of 30th in the standings. He might be in a must-win situation because I don't see him making it. Kevin Joseph came in this race in the 24th position in the points. He was a total of, I want to say, 27 points ahead of 30th in the standings. Let me double check to confirm that. Yes, I was correct. 27 points ahead of 30th in the standings. Ashley Horton was 11th in points, so she's already locked in the playoffs, so she can definitely ill afford a poor result, along with Elena Aurora, who is 7th in points. So a lot of drivers running well in points can definitely ill afford a poor finish, but this will take them out of the top 10 in the points leaving today and heading into next week at Mansfield. Brad Lewis comes in this race 39th in the points. Even if he goes to victory lane, it will not be enough for him to make the top 30 in the points to have his win count for a spot in the playoffs. I mean, he's a bit of a long shot, 55 points back of 30th in the standings. I don't think it's going to be enough. And he is about to put Betty Johnson a lap down, who's been the most consistent driver this season, but has yet to find victory lane. Betty Johnson not going to give Zachary Taylor or Brad Lewis any difficulty. She just let them go on the high side. Very courteous of Betty. Going to let her fellow Dodge Annie Crenshaw go by. Of course, that's not for position because Johnson is one lap down. Crenshaw is 2 laps down. There's the next car they got to worry about. Looks like it's Luigi Cadet. That pretty much just sums up Luigi Cadet's season. He's already ineligible to make the playoffs. Dead last in points. Cody Smart, 32nd, as I said, second in points. And with the right front all bended up on his machine, and aerodynamics is a key factor at a track like Texas. This is definitely not what he needed. Zachary Taylor in second. We're going to have to see where this is going to situate him after today. Annie Thomas. I can tell you for certain Zachary Taylor is not going to make the playoffs, but that's going to factor on a couple of things. One is if we get a new winner next week, Taylor is out. But the other thing Zachary Taylor's going to have to hope and pray, and I know he doesn't want to do it to his teammate, which is Courtney Lynn, which you would hope and pray Courtney Lynn falls outside the top 30 in points, which on one side of the spectrum as a team owner, that is probably not the greatest thing you want to hear from a commentator's perspective. And from the other side of the spectrum, he doesn't want to see Courtney Lynn outside the top 30 in points. He wants her to make the playoffs, even though she has won a race this season. Brad Lewis still leads. Of course, he has a nice little gap between himself and Brittany White. Annie Thomas is up to 4th. Taylor's back down to 8th. J TwoTwo, regardless of what happens in this event, the next 6 laps, he will keep the points lead, though, heading into next week. Annie Crenshaw trying to get one of her 2 laps back, which is going to be impossible, but that's going to allow Brittany White to catch up. Of course, they're going side by side, and that's not going to do them any favors, and that's going to allow, as I said, Brittany White to catch up. Brittany White, 27th in points. A win for her would put her in the playoffs. And the last driver that wants to see that is Courtney Lynn, Cody Smart losing a spot to Annie Winters. Down to 4 to go. Be 3 to go next time by. And here comes the 1 car using Annie Crenshaw as a pick. But they got to realize that 0-1's coming with 3 laps of racing to go. Brad Lewis has led most of this race, and he's going to get passed by Brittany White. But how long will Brittany White lead? It'll be interesting because Ben Tennyson, who's trying to run down J TwoTwo for the points lead, tried to take a peek, couldn't get by. And Brad Lewis is going to go from 1st to possibly 4th. As we're down to 2 to go here at Texas. Well, as soon as I say that, here comes the 0-1. I think the interference of the 2 caused the 17 to possibly lose this race. White flags in the air. Oh, if that was the finish, it might have been the 17 by inches. Wow, it's dead even. What was the margin? 0-0-1. Goodness me. Down the back straightaway for the final time. And it looks like Brad Lewis is going to go on to win this race. Brad Lewis is going to win here at Texas Motor Speedway. As he will win the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400. Don't know if this will get him into the playoffs, though. Brad Lewis, Ben Tennyson, Riley Anderson, Brittany White, Maddie Crenshaw, your top 5. Then it was Thomas, Art Taylor, Barrett, and Margaret Jacobs, your top 10. Going to have to see where some of these drivers have finished as you look on down through the rest of the finishing results. 33 drivers finished on the lead lap. 35 finished the race, and only 5 drivers did not reach the conclusion of the race. That would be Brooklyn Carter, Ashley Horn, Elena Aurora, Kevin Joseph, and Ben Erickson, who failed to finish. But thank you all for joining me for today's race here at Texas. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. We showed your full finisher results. Points are down in the description heading into next week at Mansfield. As you've been watching yet another broadcast of PCSRA TV, where champions are made since 2010 and 15 years as the best in racing around the world since 2017.